Hey everybody, we got yet another good topic. You see the title. We're talking about whether you need to run a 10-4x in order to break the 200-meter world record. Because I do agree that FloJo's 100 world record has to be having some type of legitimacy because of how fast their 200 is and that nobody's gotten near it. But this comes down to the athletic profile. So without further ado, I'm Nick, your host, and you are watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And it came from this comment right here. I always am looking at comments. Sometimes I put them on the screen, sometimes not. People troll and say, you're just making it up out of nowhere. Hey, whatever. So, look at the last sentence of the first comment. It also means Shericka, this is what the comment says, it also means Shericka will have a very good chance to break the world record. Then somebody said, that record ain't going nowhere. Hey, you know what? Everybody's up to their own opinion. I can see how that record may not go anywhere because that is a very hard to reach record. Definitely very hard to reach. You got to do a special time, good conditions, and everything to do that. And with even if you talk about these super tracks and everything like that, and super shoes, man, that is a hard record to get. That I still got to say, even when they break the world record, it's like, man, FloJo is a great runner. Whether you say, hey, drugs or no drugs, wasn't proven, and there are plenty of athletes, I'm sure, through history that may have used drugs and haven't been proven, whether that's from any country on the planet, including Jamaica. So if we don't got any proof, the way I'm looking at it is, hey, it is what it is. Okay? It's a record, and that's the record they look at. So here we go.00 Elaine, this comment here says only Elaine can break the record. You have to be able to run 10.400 to break that. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Let's take a look at the profiles between the athletes. But in order to look at the profiles between Shericka Jackson and Elaine Thompson-Herah, and to answer this question, we got to look at FloJo. FloJo comes in as the 100-meter athlete. Shericka Jackson comes in as a 400-meter athlete, formerly 100, but got injured, so she developed the 400-meter strength in MVP. So we're coming in from the top-down approach. And then Elaine Thompson-Herah is coming in as a speedy athlete coming from the bottom-up approach. So we're coming in like a Michael Johnson with Shericka Jackson, right? So because I went on after that and I said Michael Johnson didn't break 100 in break 10 in 100 and broke the 200 world record several times. It's doable. The guy then responded, Michael Johnson can't run 1919. That's irrelevant because the world record was 1932. That's what we're talking about. You're telling me that somebody doesn't have the capability. 1932, that's about 7/10 of a second inside of 20 seconds. That means that person's got to at least be able to run a 9.9, right? Or a 9.8. So that means somebody has some monster strength or don't care for running the 100 that much, because I think he only ran it once, in order to do that, right? And the same person said you have to be able to run 9.8 in order to run 1919. So the logic doesn't even add up because 200 was Usain Bolt's better event. He came in as a strength athlete like a Shericka Jackson. So that means somebody has to run faster as a speedster to be able to run the 1919 or faster. That just has to happen. Look at Johan Blake when he tripped, running the second fastest time. Had he not tripped, maybe he didn't have the adrenaline from that, whatever it was. Had he not tripped, that world record would have been obliterated, and he's not even close to Usain Bolt in the 100 before he got injured. So being that close to Usain Bolt world record, that's where we're coming in and analyzing it. So do you have to be able to do it? Let's look. Elaine Thompson-Herah at the Tokyo Olympics into a 0.6 negative headwind ran a 10.61. Then she went on to run that 21.53 with a positive 0.8 tailwind. Right. Okay, cool. Shericka Jackson, on the other hand, her PR into that same negative 0.6 headwind ran a 10.76. She ran a 10.76, going over the Shericka Jackson right here. I think this is what this year's results. But if we look at her personal best, she ran a 10.76 into that negative. So we can say zero it out, what, 10.75, 10.74, whatever. She just ran a 10.77 after they delayed that 100, right? They had to restart it like 4 or 5 times. I think 5th time was the charm. And then they were waiting outside about 10 minutes or so. And, you know, you're trying to make sure you're ready for your race. You got your warm-up set there. So it's clear that wasn't going to be the best time she was going to run. Whether she was going to break 10.7 or not, I think that she had the capability of breaking 10.7 right there. Obviously, it's just going to depend on the factors. Would she have actually broken it or not? Who knows? But one thing I can be sure of is that I don't think that 10.77 was going to be what she ran. It would have been a 10.7 low, if not breaking 10.7. Then she came by with a 0 wind on a wet track, which was kind of sort of dry, but it wasn't as slippery as it was earlier in that evening. She ran a 21.55. So you're telling me somebody that isn't anywhere near, you would get blown out of the water. Okay? She got blown out of the water. 10.61 to 10.76 is a blowout. You're telling me somebody that can only do 10.76 into that same headwind, remember, they were in the same race, can muster up a 21.55, which is only 0.2 of a second slower than somebody on a faster track. Remember, this is Jamaica's stadium here, and that's using the Berlin and the European Championships track, right? So you're using a material that Usain Bolt ran his world record, but you're not using the newest material where they all claim, if we just take them at their word and say, yes, this is that, okay, 21.53 to 21.55. So my answer is a resounding no. You don't have to run a 10.4, and maybe even for Shericka Jackson, she may not have to run a 10.5 anything in order to break the world record. She has monstrous strength here. Now, running 10.5, like I said, she might not have to do that, maybe a 10.6 low, but if she runs a 10.5 anything, I think she has the capability of breaking that world record. She got the capability. So for this one, no, you ain't got to run a 10.4. But what do you guys think in the comment section below? Maybe I'm analyzing this. Maybe you think I'm analyzing this wrong or something like that. I don't think so. I'm looking at the profiles. Flojo was a speed runner. Not the best 400 athlete, neither is Shericka Jackson for that matter either. But she anchored the USA to a silver medal at the Olympics. Okay, cool. She was good enough to be on the 4x4 squad. But that's the same thing with Shericka Jackson. Had she not pulled a Jackson, that's what I'm calling the move now. I'm calling it a Jackson, where she just was like not paying attention and got herself disqualified and everything like that. She pulled a Jackson and didn't qualify for the next rounds for the 200. Yeah, she could have been tired and everything. I mean, Flojo was probably tired. Remember, they were doing 4 rounds back then, and not just 3 like they're doing now. So you got to have even more strength. This is where we're coming in right here. You got to have the speed endurance and the speed to come in. And every athlete, this is why we run the races. It's very good watching them, because sometimes you see somebody much faster. With this same logic here, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce should have broken 22 seconds a long time ago. This is how your argument gets defeated as well. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce needed to break 10.7 in order to break 22, whereas other athletes might barely need to break 11 in order to break 22. And when I say barely, that's like running like a 10.9 low or 10.8 something. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce had to break a full 10.7 in order to break 22 for the first time in her life. That shows the difference between the speed endurance aspects of it, because she got better speed endurance. She might have broken 10.6 and still not broken 10.22. Or broken 10.7 and still not broken 22. Her speed endurance improved. Shericka Jackson has much better speed endurance than Elaine Thompson-Herah. Look at their PRs in the 400, and this is the end. You guys, after I put the checkmate on this guy, and anybody else that may disagree. You can go down there. She can't even. She could barely run a 55.88, and that's over there. Man, look at the videos online of either Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce or Shericka Jackson, or Elaine Thompson-Herah trying to run a 400. It's kind of funny. I mean, it is pretty funny watching them do it, because it's like, you know how good they are at these shorter distances, and then you watch it and it's just like, yeah, they're gonna do something, and then they're just not. It's kind of entertaining to me. To them, it's probably torture, especially with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. You let her just like, no, I don't want to run 400. I put me back in the 100. I don't want to run a 400. They've asked her several times. She's like, no. So yeah, their strength, their speed endurance here, and some of the endurance aspect, yes, are much different, light years different. This is why Elaine Thompson-Herah can run a 10.54 and then run a 21.53, and Shericka Jackson can run a 10.76. Let's just say, with wind being equal, a 10.75, 10.74, and run a 21.55. This is gonna be one heck of a championships. I hope we get a good tailwind. I want to see what they can do. If they don't break the world record here, I'm just gonna be completely surprised. I'm actually surprised. I would be surprised with the shape that Shericka Jackson's in right now. I'd be surprised. Let me know in the comment section below. Share this video with other people. I'd like to shout out to the people that come out to do the donations there. Insta Roy, shout out to you for coming in with the Cash App on a consistent basis. I'll be shouting out other people in the future. Peace out.